Okay, I'm back. It's been almost 23 minutes. I've got 8 seconds left. What you're going to do is you're going to pull the biscotti out of the oven and you're going to check it. And these look pretty good. They're nice and brown. When they get golden brown like this, what you want to do is pull them out, and now you're going to let them rest for about 10 minutes. And I'm going to show you guys what they look like. They look really good. If you want them a little bit darker, you can leave them in for another 2 minutes. I think this color is pretty good. I'm going to set a 10-minute timer so I don't go over on this. But you're going to leave them alone in the pan for right now. And I'm going to transfer these onto a cooling rack. Like I said, you're going to leave them in the pan on a cooling rack. And for the first 10 minutes, you can see behind me, I also have a cutting board right here. And you're going to want a big knife. You're also going to want a couple of spatulas when it comes time to taking them out of the pan. And I use my all-clad, but I also use this great big one, and it's kind of good to take them out when you go to cut them. Now these didn't raise all that much, so these aren't going to be really thick biscottis, but I think they'll be good. Yeah, these should be good. They should be good biscotti. So let them rest for 10 minutes. At the 10-minute mark, what you're going to do is, if they're cool enough to work with, you're going to take them out of the pan one by one and transfer them to a cutting board. And then you're going to cut them. You're going to cut them at an angle. And you're going to turn them on the side. You're going to pop them back into your oven. You don't need to reflour your cookie sheet now. You can leave that alone, or you can transfer them to a brand new cookie sheet. But you're going to lay them on the side, and you're going to put them back in the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes, or until you get the desired crispness you want in your biscotti. And I'll show you that when the 10-minute mark is up. So I'm going to stop the video and I'll be right back. Since we're in the holiday spirit and we're making our biscotti, I just thought I'd bring you back out here and show you how lovely things look. I did have a little bit of trouble today with my grandmother's snowman and Santa Claus that accidentally fell off. And it got a little bit wet from the dogs. So what I did is I used a damp towel on it. But my living room looks lovely. And I forgot to tell you guys about this yesterday. This is also something that my grandmother hand-painted for me when I was a kid. And I have several of these. Unfortunately, some of these got broken because they weren't stored properly. This is one of the last that actually survived. And I like to put him out all year around. Now, I haven't put the Christmas wreath on the door quite yet, and part of the reason I haven't put the Christmas wreath on the door is I can't find it. And my husband and I are thinking about putting a live one on this year, but we'll be doing that sometime in December. So it's been roughly 8 minutes, and they're still pretty warm, so I might go. Let's go another 4 minutes. We're going to do another 4 minutes before we transfer them. And I actually am going to take out a different baking sheet. Or cookie sheet, I should say, not baking sheet. To put them on when they're done. And you can I hope you guys can see this. I'm going to tip you guys down, but they are beautiful. You can see the different pieces of fruit in them, and they smell absolutely amazing. So earlier I said I probably would start making the Christmas cookies, which I probably will do shortly after the 1st of December. I have one son and his new wife, my oldest son and his his new bride are flying in the first week of December to see us. So I'll be making some of their favorite treats for the holidays. And then closer to Christmas, I'll be making more cookies and possibly a dessert for the Christmas holiday. I haven't decided what I'm going to make, if I'm going to make a candy cane cake or if I'm going to do a combination of cake and cookies, something to have for the holiday season. I think we're getting pumpkin pied out since I made 4 pumpkin pies this year. But I may do the apple pie also, or an apple cake. I'd love to do an applesauce cake for the holidays. Or I may even do a bundt cake, a rum bundt cake for the holidays. So we're getting down to the last 2 minutes here. And I'm going to just feel, yeah, these are much, much cooler. I'm going to start with the one on the right. And I'm going to put you guys back where you guys were. And like I said, if you're longtime viewers, you know you're on the garbage can. And I'll try to move this up. The problem is if I move this too high up, then you guys won't see it, but you can see this. So you want to be careful when you take your biscotti out of the pan. And yeah, the pan is still a little bit hot. So I'm going to tip you guys over. You can kind of see that in a little bit of place, like right in here, they kind of merge just a little bit. So you want to use extra care when you get them out of the pan. I'm going to move my knife here. And what I usually do is I'll start by finding an area that I can put my spatula under. And you just, yeah, and these might crack a little bit. Yeah, and you just want to wiggle your paddle underneath them. Yeah, and this is actually cracking. So this might have not baked quite long enough. I may have needed to put this a little bit longer in the oven, but I think it'll still do if I can get it out of the pan. And this is why flouring your surface is so important. Yeah, this definitely, unfortunately, should have gone even longer than I had it in there, and I can tell. I'm going to stick this one back in for maybe another 3 minutes, just to have it firm up a little bit more. So unfortunately, this is crumbling, and you can kind of see where it crumbled right in here. But we're going to see what happens. I'm going to take the first part off. I'm just going to kind of, well, it has that crunch. So I'm just going to do these on an angle. And this one is kind of broken, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ends off, and the little pieces just going to put on the side like this, and you'll be able to see the nice fruit that's in them. You just want to line them on your cookie sheet on their side. And like I said, these are not fully baked. They need to bake for about another 10-15 minutes. It kind of is up to you on how crunchy you want them to become. And some of these are big. And what I like to do with the end pieces is I just stick them. Now the end pieces you can't really stick those on the sides, so I'm just gonna set the end pieces on here. And I'll move these. I'm gonna move this over and allow that one to do for a little bit longer. Sometimes I have good luck with my biscotti, and sometimes the biscotti doesn't work. And apparently this time because they spaced out and were bigger, they should have probably gone at least 25, 26, maybe even 27 minutes. But sometimes you don't know what's going on with the biscotti. Guys, that's just the flag. It's a little bit windy here because there's a cold front going on. So I'm going to stop the video for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I'm back. The dogs were barking because they thought somebody was at the door, and it was just the flag blowing. But you can see how pretty these biscottis are with their fruit and stuff. Now, when I bring the other one out, it needs to cool for at least 10 minutes. So, in about 1 minute, I'll bring that out. That just allows it to cook a little bit longer. They could probably have gone, based on what these look like on the inside, they could have probably gone at least 10 more minutes, but I don't want to over bake the first biscotti. Like I said, I only make biscotti once in a blue moon. I haven't probably made biscotti for maybe 5 years now. I go in spurts with biscotti. I love biscotti, but as you can tell, or as it was pointed out by an ex-member, my waistline doesn't need the biscotti. So, yeah, that feels like it's going to be better. I'm going to let this one cool down for about 10 minutes. Actually, I'm going to go 12 minutes with this one just to let it cool down. And then we'll pop it out. We're going to do the exact same thing, and we're going to line the board. Like I said, this needs to bake for at least 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to probably go more on the 15 side because it needs to crisp up. You want your biscotti to get nice and crisp. So I'll be back in about 11 minutes and we'll do the other biscotti. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Oh, I'm sorry, Princess. I don't think I have 10 seconds left. So, and this is pretty cool. So I'm going to see if this will come out a little bit easier. And I'm just going to turn that off for a second. And you just want to run your spatula pretty much all the way around it, just to make sure that you get it totally free. And what I'm going to take is my other spatula underneath. We're going to pull this up. Oh, that came out much better. So that was it. I just did not let it bake initially long enough. So if you have that trouble with the first one, or if you go to lift it, it looks like it's going to start cracking, pop it back in your oven for a few more minutes just to let it set, and then let it cool for an additional 10 minutes. So I'm going to move this out of my way. Actually, I may need to keep this one, which I think I'm going to have to do. Let me wash this pan really fast. Yeah, it's not that hot. We're gonna be needing. I'll move you guys up here. we're going to be needing 2 pans actually for this one, just because this makes a lot of biscotti. So let me wash this really fast. And usually when it sticks, if you have a lot of stickiness down, you either A, didn't put enough flour, which I might have done, but I think this was a combination that I didn't let it cook long enough. But it should clean very fast. And I've been reading you guys' comments on Christmas tree decorating, and I thank you so much for all the beautiful comments you guys have made regarding my husband and the kids and everything. I really appreciate that. My husband's not afraid to touch the ornaments. He just knows if he breaks one, I'll yell at him. And those are some of those ornaments that date back to the 1950s. I can't buy anymore because they haven't been made in years. So you just want to dry this really fast, and that took no time. You don't, like I said, you don't need to reflour this or anything. You do want to make sure though that your cookie sheet is nice and dry before you put the next biscotti on it. So you're going to do the exact same thing that you did. What we're going to do is we're going to take the flat side off, and then how wide you make these is kind of a personal preference. Sometimes if you make them too wide, and these can get really big. Start with this one over here. I'm going to finish putting these. Now, some of the really long ones, like these, you won't be able to set on here. I think we'll do a couple. And you have to use 2 hands sometimes for these so you don't get too much. Okay, and that's enough for that one. So I'm just gonna. These are much longer biscottis. Sometimes what you can do is, if they're too long, is just cut them in half, and then you can make smaller biscottis. So if they're really long like this, what I sometimes will do is I'll cut them in half, and then you get even more biscottis off of them, and that's more of a normal serving size rather than trying to fit the big biscottis. And these can go close together because they're not going to space out anymore, so you can actually put them closer together. And what I'm going to do is just going to continue doing that. I'm gonna eyeball these, and I'm gonna kind of go maybe at an angle. Well, this one shouldn't be too big. I mean, it's a big piece, but we'll put him down there. But these can maybe go about like that. Going to be like this, and these biscottis will last for quite a while if you store them in if you store them in an airtight container. Okay, I'm just gonna put the last biscotti on the platter right here. I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. So they're very pretty with the little fruit. You can see the little fruit throughout them. And then I've got more here. Now you see how this is light. That's significant that they're not cooked all the way through, that they need to cook longer. So what you're going to do is you're going to pop them back into a 375-degree oven. And I'm going to do them for at least 15 minutes. You might need to go a little less, a little more. It depends on how crisp you want your biscotti. If you want your biscotti really crispy, go the full 15 minutes. If you want them a little bit more softer, go a little bit less. Go maybe the 10-minute mark. But check them at 10 minutes to see how they're doing. Once they're fully dry, you're going to put them back on the cookie sheet. You're going to take them out of the pan and line your cooling rack. And you're going to let them completely cool down before you store them. And like I said, the biscottis, and you know what, since I'm done with this, I'll put you guys up here. The biscottis can definitely be stored for up to a month. I've even had them much longer than that. They've been fine as long as they're in a storage airtight container. I don't suggest putting biscottis in bags. What tends to happen if you put them in bag is air can leak into the bag, and they can get either really, really, really hard, or they can start to go bad. And especially when you have fruit, when you're using the dried fruits or the holiday fruits, you want to be a little bit more careful with that, because those have a tendency, if they get a lot of air to them, they can mold faster. But if you put them in an airtight container, and I have my grandmother's, and I'm going to try not to bother my husband because he's watching football, but I have my grandmother's cake, Tupperware cake and cookie thing, and this is what I usually put my holiday cookies in to do this. This also doubles as a cake stand, and this is one of her Tupperware containers. And I wish to God Tupperware would make these again, but they haven't made them since the 1980s. This is probably from the mid-70s or early 70s. And I'll be utilizing all of these plus my new Tupperware when we store the Christmas cookies for the season. So I'm going to close out today's video and say thank you guys so much for tuning in. There is going to be a couple of days next week I'm going to take off. I am definitely taking Tuesday and Thursday of next week off because I will be back at the pantry and there's a lot of work I need to get done at the pantry. I will be bringing my husband back, not today, but probably sometime either Wednesday or possibly Saturday to do another drink series. I think I'm going to incorporate him as like a weekly drink series for the holidays. So if you have good holiday drinks that you want to be featured within reason, leave them down below because there's only two of us and we don't drink heavily to begin with. So don't do like a really ridiculous request that uses a lot of alcohol because chances are that won't be featured on ours unless we do a holiday get-together. Same thing, if you guys have recipes that you want me to focus on or help you out starting next year, starting in January, start leaving the comments down below and I will be more than happy to go through, find recipes, and help you guys make your favorite meals if you're not doing them right. I do know coming up for cooks, we're going to be doing a chicken parmesan. we're going to definitely do a chicken parmesan. There's going to be the Feast of the Seven Fishes. That'll be more towards Christmas Eve, because that's Christmas Eve tradition on my Italian side of the family. There was another dish that I was gonna do, and I'll think of it. But we're definitely gonna be getting into the Christmas cookie season, and I'll be teaching you guys how to make your favorite cookies. So leave them down below, and we'll be doing that. So I'll see you on the next Cooking with Joel video. Don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. I've got 195 of you fellow viewers that are viewing me, and I thank each and every one of you guys. Let's get the channel to grow. If I can get over 200 before the Christmas holiday, I'll be thrilled. And then I'll just start working up to the 500, and then hopefully 1,000 maybe next year. So I'll see you on the next Cooking with Joel video.